it's live. Yeah.
We are live. All right. And we're just going to wait for a couple people to come in. And the topic is going to be, can a woman raise a man on her own? And this topic was actually sent to us from one of our co-hosts tonight, which is, go ahead and introduce yourself.
Hi, everybody. I'm Ashley.
Okay, so if you guys have any comments, any input, go ahead and reach out to us. Soon we will have a way for you to be able to call in. Until then, we're just getting things going.
She said soon. I don't know what we're doing.
Listen,
it took us 45 minutes to get this set up.
Right. So we're going to have phone calls where you call in. We're going to be able to have this thing going. Somebody's echo. Oh, it's gone. Okay.
I was gonna say, whose echo is that? Is that Ash?
It was.
I had to check. I was like, I know that's not me.
So introducing myself, I am Tasha Neal Harris with the Tasha Neal Show, and
I'm Daquan, also known as Geezdayday on YouTube. That's where this will be posted. So check me out on Geezdayday on YouTube. All that good stuff.
Make sure you guys check him out, like and subscribe. Hit that subscribe button.
Y'all know you ain't gonna do all that.
No, they need to do that because you know what? They've got all these shows out here that don't show us in a positive light. So any show where, because this is my son, y'all, right?
Yeah, that's my mom. Tasha Neal Show, that's my mom's show. I don't call it the Tasha Neal Show. I call it That's My Mom's Show.
So you have mother and son, and we're going to have all these different topics where a mother and son is discussing it and different generations as well. So, you know, hopefully we could be of assistance to people out there who have different difficult topics that they want to discuss. Let's go. We're going to be talking about everything from infidelity. We're going to talk about birth control. We're going to talk about pornography. We're going to talk about it all, right? These topics that people are like, oh my God, you talk about that with your kid? Yes.
We get that a lot on the channel. A lot of people say that. That's like one of the most common comments that I get is like, I can't believe you talking about this with your mom next to you. I can't believe you watched WAP with your mom. Like, who else was I gonna watch it with? Like, you know what I mean? Like, I don't know. So that's the dynamic that I guess we have that's unique, but it kind of helps us see different things from different perspectives, you know, especially with our positions. So I like what we have today because we have 3 different generations of people. We have my generation, Ash's generation, and my mother's generation. So we're all from different perspectives and points of view. And we all have a different perspective on today's issue. So Ma, go ahead and tell them about today's issue.
So today's issue, if you guys have any topics that you want to talk about and be on a show with us, make sure to hit us up and we'll bring you on a show and we'll talk about what it is that you want to discuss, what's important to you. So Ashley reached out to us and she wanted to discuss being a mother. Can you raise a single mother? Can you raise your child, your children, your boys on your own without a father figure? So tell me, Ashley, what is it that wanted you to discuss this topic?
You know, I've been seeing a lot of posts and I get a lot of people that talk about how, oh, well, you know, single family homes and the man not being there and how it impacts children or it impacts the boys today. And I always want to get into those conversations, but I am the one that, you know, let's just say I don't fit what everybody else says. So I just wanted to, you know, talk about can a woman raise a man and how will it impact them when they get older, if it does, you know?
Yeah.
So first of all, let me say, you cute.
Thanks. Thank you. It runs in the family.
First of all, let's put that on out there. She cute. Okay.
Thanks.
So, do you have fear that there's not a man, or do you feel offended that people are saying that you can't do it alone?
Yeah, I feel very offended that they say that I can't do it alone. They say I need a man. which it would be great to have that, but you don't need it. That's my thing. And so when I say that, they're like, oh, well, then, your boys are going to turn out like this, or they'll turn out like that, or you're too woman, you're nurturing and they need that oomph, or whatever they say. They say so many things, and I'm like, well, I have duality, so I have both, so I can do that for them. So I don't understand the problem.
So why do you think that they say that? Why do you think they take issue with that? Why do you think that's even something that's relevant for them to bring up? Why do you think that is?
Yeah, I guess it would have something to do with how the boys are being raised by single parents or by women nowadays, and how they are turning out to be a product of society.
Soft?
Yes.
Do you feel? Go ahead and say it. Do you feel like boys being raised in this generation are being raised to be soft? Would you agree with that kind of sentiment that's kind of being, because to me, when people say that, it comes off as boomer logic. Now, when I say boomer logic, it's like you're too traditional to deal with change. You call us soft because we understand our emotions better than y'all did. You know what I mean? So it's like, because I got that, I got that from previous generations, where it's like, just because I'm able to cry if something makes me sad enough doesn't mean that I'm soft. It just means that I know that I shouldn't punch a wall when I'm sad. I should let that out, Okay. So it's a different dynamic. And I wonder, I get scared personally. I get scared when I hear things like that, because I don't want us to turn into those boomers, you know what I mean, who look down on the next generation, who look down on the young kids and be like, hey, you little softy, I had to walk to school bare feet in ice storms and gravel rocks with nobody behind me and fight off child predators both ways 10 miles. Like, I don't want us to do that. I don't want us to turn into that. So I get nervous when they say things like that.
So let me put out I think it's tradition, right? I think what happens is you have a lot of traditional people a lot of men who are traditional, who feels very strongly on this, that a woman can't do it alone, right? Which actually offended me as well, because I was single before him, right? So it offended me because it was almost like he was talking down on me, like I couldn't handle my business, like I could tell him I can't handle my business, I got this, right? But I think that
he don't like that either.
I think no, he can't stand that. It's like we're a weird couple. But I think that what they try to say is like the nuclear family. I believe that they're saying that women like you are becoming so independent to where you're saying, I don't need a man.
And then dismiss it, yeah.
Right, and so it's kind of like you're getting shamed, and single women are getting shamed because you're just like, you know what? I don't have to tolerate this bullshit. Excuse my French. I don't have to tolerate this bullshit. I don't have to settle to just be with a man.
Right.
Nuclear family.
Right.
100.
Toxic as hell.
Right.
100%.
I agree 100% with everything you just said. Yeah. Absolutely.
Right.
Yeah.
So it would be nice to have that nuclear traditional family, but if that means that a woman has to tolerate a whole bunch of bullshit, then I think that
it wouldn't be healthy.
Yeah,
it wouldn't be healthy for
family.
Everybody. Then the kids will be impacted as well.
Right.
So then it's like a catch-22. They'll be impacted if mommy's not happy or daddy's not happy, or they'll be impacted if there's only one person. Apparently, if there's only one, what I mean. So
dang it, girl, say it. Girl.
Well, I think that puts rise to a point that I always have felt really strongly about, because to me personally, I felt like that as a man growing up, I would have been way more greatly impacted by seeing a toxic male role model than no male role model.
There you go. Okay.
So I never thought. Like, so it's like if I grew up seeing a dude beat on my mom, and I repressed that and I normalized that, I'm gonna grow up and I might do the same to my woman because I learned watching you, Dad. You know what I mean? So it's like, would I rather that, or would I rather just have no male role model in the picture? And I shouldn't even say no male role model, but no father in the picture, rather than a negative father in the picture. I wonder if people take that into consideration when they say that, oh, a father should be in the picture, but there's a lot of bad fathers out there, and bad moms. Don't get me wrong.
Bad mothers too.
Absolutely. But since today's topic is can a woman raise a man on her own? I have to look at fathers specifically, because we can say that there are plenty of bad moms who won't set a good example for their sons, and you're in the same position.
And bringing a whole bunch of men home and things like that. See, me personally, I can do all, like, I play football. I'm like I said, the whole duality thing. Tasha, I was a tomboy. Okay, I'm jumping fences, playing basketball, throwing footballs, and doing all that stuff or whatever. So I can, if that's what the boys are like, I mean, I don't know. Tell me, like, what do other people think? Or what do they need?
So let me play devil's advocate on what you just said, okay? Now
me or Ash?
Huh?
Me.
Me or Ash? You're playing devil's advocate to what I said or what Ash said?
What Ashley said.
Oh,
okay. So let me say this. You and I were both tomboys, okay? I just got home from sanding some drywall.
She had to wash paint off her hands. I seen it.
Right, I just washed paint off my hands. So
got all of it off.
Look, I probably got some still on. So we're tomboys. So let me play devil's advocate. So you have a female who's more soft, right? Who's more sedity, who is more pampered, like
not like me.
And there's nothing wrong with that female.
Right.
The more suit and tie, the more traditional woman, the more cookie clean, the more, and even the women who dance. And what I say by that is because if there's not a man in the home, we have to think about gender roles, right?
Roles,
because
yes.
whether we like it or not, there's gender roles.
Right.
And that is traditional, where we're trying to make it to where everything is blended. But I still believe in, I'm a hypocrite because I believe in gender roles for males, but not for females. I'm a hypocrite.
But society placed those roles on us, though. Society
absolutely.
Mm-hmm. They did. But let me continue with what I was saying. So if you have just a woman who is more soft, who doesn't have that duality like you do, so the young man, all he sees is mom hair and girl, let me tell you something, honey. Oh, honey, when I was on girl, and
right.
And then so he's watching this and he's emulating what he sees. He's mimicking mom. So there is not that masculine presence there. So it's not to say that she can't do it, raise him, but where does the male come from? Where does the man come from?
What he can see.
I agree. I see what you're saying, but Ash, I'll let you respond to that, and I'll give my thoughts.
So, and that's true. So that's why I do surround my boys, my two boys, 14 and 9, around a male figure so they can have that. I do. So they have that. They do have it. But and then also Jason, with him being a teenager, there's some things he's probably not comfortable talking to me about, but only with a man. So that's why I keep, and so my dad, he'll come around and he'll talk to Jason and things like that. So I understand that it's one of those things that you should have around, but it doesn't mean that I can't do it by myself. And so yes, and the whole pretty thing, I don't want them to emulate that.
I mean, you know what I mean, though.
Yes,
I I literally have seen.
We just actually talked about this. We talked about it, and we both saw it happen. Yeah.
We saw it with our own eyeballs. We've seen women who raise young boys, and there's nothing and you would have those who would say, oh, the child is going to come out gay or whatever. There's nothing wrong with being gay. However, they feel like it is a heightened opportunity for the child to become gay if he's raised by just the mother than the father, because he is mimicking those female characteristics, those female qualities. Like I said, we literally saw a couple young men who are raised by their mothers who aren't really around men, and they'll be at the football field and they'll rather cheer than play football.
There you go.
They'll be out there, and I've seen them, they cross their legs and they be like, ooh,
probably better than me.
So, what do you do about that?
Exactly. I don't know. What do you think?
I think it's so much that goes into that, because I think when people have such an issue where they talk about the nuclear family and a father being present, I don't think that you have to have a father present per se. I just think you have to give the child an opportunity to know what a strong woman looks like and what a strong man looks like, so they have the opportunity to choose who they want to be. Do they want to be? Do they want to be this woman? Do they want to emulate these womanistic traits, or do they want to emulate these manly traits? Do they want to be, or do they want to be somewhere in between? They deserve the opportunity to see both sides of this spectrum that we call gender roles. And once you see them, the child has the opportunity to discover his own or her own identity. But when you don't have an exposure to masculinity of any form, you're bound to emulate the only behaviors that you see as a child growing up.
That's true.
That's the only thing that I feel like we're missing on that. It's like, if you have no male role models or any male things that to aspire to, if you have nothing to look to for any type of male representation, you're going to just, I don't know, figure it out, look to somewhere. Now that we go from there, and then we go to positive male role models, that's even harder. That's a whole nother discussion. But Mom, you wanted to say something, it seems?
No, I wanted Ashley to respond to that. When there is what you said and what I said with gender roles and masculinity and femininity. Where does the child get that if there's no man in the home?
Man, that is actually a good question. And so I kind of said it while he was saying his thing. I wonder if that's where they get the whole, well, if they're not getting at home, then they'll look towards the streets. They'll find Big Homie and go hang out with Big Homie and stuff.
They'll find somebody because there's always something there. That's the thing we forget. There's always something there for us to look to emulate. It just, it's up to us to decide what are they going to emulate or who they're going to emulate. So if kids see somebody on TV that they like and they follow, you gotta have to notice like, or this person is idolizing Lil Wayne. Do I want that person emulating all of Lil Wayne's behaviors? I don't know. Maybe I should show him some more black dudes in media so he can see what it's like to be, a football player. I don't know, something.
Right.
So,
100.
So Ashley, maybe that is what they mean when they're saying, I think that we have to be very careful with our wording, right? I think that we have to be very careful and more helpful with how we word things. So like, for instance, instead of saying a woman can't do it on her own, perhaps we should say,
should a woman?
Perhaps we should say, she could do it on her own, but it would be preferable for her to have some positive real male influences.
Yeah, that whole can't word. Yeah,
but we didn't come up with that though. That was something that was being said. That's a thing that people say. Woman can't raise a man. Like, that's something that is said by a lot of people. So we didn't really.
Know Obama has. We know Obama did.
Right.
And we know, and I love freaking basketball, LeBron. You know, but if you listen to LeBron's story, Ashley, he often talks about his coach. So again, where you have your father, who is that positive male role model, you're doing it alone. But however, you do have a positive male influence in your son's life.
Right.
Okay. Yeah.
So what happens when a woman has boys and, like Daquan was saying, and does not have that positive role model in her house? And she can't just go out and be like, I think it's stupid, because a woman can't just go out and be like, I was gonna marry him because I can't do it alone. You know what?
Thank you.
Here.
They're like forcing the issue, and it's just, you're right, Aunt Tasha. I agree with you 100%. I don't know.
I think that it's very important for single women. First of all, you guys know, I was not just a single mom for quite some time. I was an angry Black woman. That's another total different.
You were an angry Black woman for a long time.
For a long time.
Like,
and I often discuss we're angry because of just like what Ashley wanted to do the show about, because we're told that we're bad. Like, oh, you can't do it alone, but there is no kickback. Here's the kickback. There's no kickback on the man where you go. And then everything falls back on the woman. Well, you should have picked a better man.
Thank you.
That's
like, had I known in the beginning
that he was a booster,
I probably wouldn't have. And I don't mean to put nobody's business out there, but you know what I mean? They don't show, well, it's not one of those things you just show out right front, you know what I'm saying? And you know, so
I think the only thing I can say about that is that I hate to be this guy. I gotta be that guy though. But I know too many girls who will know a dude with multiple kids that he don't take care of and will still let him smash and get pregnant. And then it happens too often, so I gotta put that out there too. I gotta put it out there too, just cause like I said, I don't want to be that guy. I don't want to be that guy.
Hey, look, my baby dad, and I don't like to use the word baby daddy, but my baby daddy, told me his kids died, so he had kids. Yeah, you
can't do that about that. You didn't know, like.
So I didn't know he was not taking care of his kids because they were dead to me.
But see, that's the thing. That's not even the thing that I'm talking about. I'm talking about women who know that a dude has kids and they might beef with the other baby mom or whatever or something. Whatever the case is, you know he has multiple kids by potentially other women or another woman that he don't take care of. You know, so it's like you still mess around with him. And this isn't talking about all dudes. This is just talking about specific examples that I've seen in my life by, dudes I might have worked with or something like that. And I'll know, like, this nigga ain't no good. Like, I can see that. I'm like, what you talking to this man for? You know, and it's like, you hook up with him anyway and then get pregnant. And then now it's, woe is me, feel bad for me.
That's true.
Like that. So I think there's two sides to this that at least we should acknowledge at the very least. I don't think it's something that's like, like I said, I don't want to be that guy because I don't want to pretend like I'm vilifying women or whatever to say they can't do it. But I know women that will put themselves in those positions
in a bad situation.
That dude ain't no good. It's like that dude deserves to have a stamp on his forehead saying he should get no booty. Like, no. Like, until you take care of your kids, no booty. Like, that's it. Like, you shouldn't get none. So I think like that falls on both of us. Acknowledge that there's women who have terrible taste in men
100
who should know better, and that dudes should get more shame if they do have kids that they don't take care of, or if you got 7 kids. Like, nigga, don't be proud of that.
Kids that are all dead.
Yeah, like don't be proud that you got this many kids. Don't brag about that. Don't act like this is a badge of honor. Like, it's not a good thing to have that many kids.
Well, I think that besides some women do choose bad, but But to say that they can't do it alone, I think is a dangerous thing to say.
I think so,
it then sets a woman into this mindset that can she? You know what I mean? And then you have, it's just so many dynamics that we really need to kind of get rid of that, because she shouldn't just run out and try to meet a dude and marry him so she's not single. You know what I mean? So I think we need to be careful. And one of the things that I've talked about and I feel very strongly about is you've got this judgment upon single women, single mothers, but a woman who was married and is divorced and is no longer married, she's a single mom too. Yeah. But somehow they don't put her into the mix. It's like, Ashley, I don't know if you would agree, but it's almost like if a woman was married, she does not fall into the same category as
well, they don't. They technically don't, though.
They do, though.
But they don't. Like, there's actually a term, like they actually call them single unwed mothers, just specifically so they can just that. I'm not saying that I agree. I'm saying specifically so they can judge you based off of the fact that you weren't married when you had this kid, because. And I think they'll use the idea that you didn't at least try to commit under their religion to do this, so they can judge you like, oh, so you didn't even try to get married before having kids. Now I really don't think highly of you. So I'm saying that there are actual, like, they use those terminology to help bash a woman who might have made a mistake or who might have loved this person and things didn't work out. You know what I mean? So it's just what they use.
So Ashley, what do you think? Because at the end of the day, our conversation should always try to bring upon some change, even if it's one person, right? Yeah. What would you want people to know about you as a single mom and your capabilities to care for your sons on your own?
I think, and not only just me, but other single mothers that are taking care of young men, that will be a product of society. So we're doing our best just to build us up, raise us up. Don't speak down on us and I don't like the word can't, or you don't know how to do, or you don't this, can't, don't. Why don't you instead raise us up? Okay, love on us, be happy, say you can do this. Do you need any help? I mean things like that.
Do you need any help?
Yeah, nobody asks that. They always just want to just tear you down.
We do like that.
I love that.
I wanted to ask you something, Ash, because you said this a couple times over the course of the conversation. When you say product of society, what do you mean?
I don't want them to. I want them to. They'd be like, oh, that's Ashley's son. You know how when I used to drive for Coda, and they'd be like, oh, that's Daryl's daughter. I want them to be like, that Ashley did a damn good job with them boys. That's what I mean by a product of society. I don't want them out here on the corners or doing, I want them to be gentlemen. You know what I'm saying? So that's what I mean.
So as a single mother, what advice would you give to other single mothers who are raising boys on their own?
Oh, that's a good question. Oh, it's tough. You know what? I would just tell them you got this. You can do this. If you need help, ask for help. You shouldn't have to ask, but if you need it, ask. We can build a tribe. It takes a village to raise children. So I mean, it's just we're in it together. And I don't know more than I can say than that, but
So what do you do as a mother, as a single mom, to raise because you said that you want them to be a positive product of society. So what tools are you using to guide your sons to be that positive product of society?
That's a good question too. Well, I get a lot of help from my dad. I talk to him a lot about things like that, and he's a girl dad anyway, so he had girls, and so he doesn't but he does help me. So he's one of my biggest tools. I use him. I go to him all the time. What can I do how can I relate to them? What can I do so that they feel comfortable speaking to me and things like that? So he's a big tool I use. Then I use, of course, quality time. We went out today to other worlds. It was fun. I get them into sports. I get them into activities, things like that. Yeah.
Okay. Daquan, a question for you, because as I said earlier, I was a single mom for quite some time. Do you feel like I could have done it alone? And do you feel like the men that you had in your life would have helped guide you? Do you feel like you would have known the things that you do now if I had not married your father? Like, do you feel like I could have done it on your own? And what changes do you feel were altered when he came in?
That's a good question.
Well, personally, I can't say that I don't believe that you couldn't have done it on your own, but I can say that I wouldn't be the man I am today without my dad. I can 100% say that I needed my dad, and that's one of the reasons why I do believe having a male role model is important, because whether or not he was my father, even if he was just a guy I could go talk to in my neighborhood or my coach, if I knew somebody like him, then there's a good chance I would have, been at least similar to the man I am today, because I did start to emulate behaviors that you had, and I caught it. Because I spent too much time around you. And that was also because we were very close. I talked to you about everything. Dad wasn't exactly a conversationalist. So it's not like I could come to him about everything. And then even if I did come to him, I had to be ready to get, he about to hammer you, whatever. Like, you're going to feel bad after the conversation. So, but it took a lot of reflecting as an adult to realize how important it was to have dad. Just in my life at all, like I said, because I didn't interact with my dad a lot. I really didn't. Like, I interact now as an adult with my dad more than I ever did growing up. But just seeing a guy who worked hard to provide for himself, who knew how to get out of bed and take care of his and go, like a real just go-getter type of dude, just to see that in real life, to know that it's real, and to not see it in a movie or TV. It meant a lot, because you know that it's real. You know that it's real because it's right in front of you. So to see him start his own business, to see him go and bust his tail every day, and even when he's sick, get out of bed and go and bust his tail more.
You was able to see that.
Yeah, not just because he wanted to provide for his family, but because he wanted it. He wanted it for himself. 100. To have that ambition, that drive, to me, that's part of what makes me a man, is the fact that I feel like every day I got to get up and do something. After we get off this meeting, I'm going to the gym just so I feel like I did something. But I feel like that's partly you and partly him. But seeing a man do it made me feel like I could do it too.
There you go.
Okay. So I want to say that having that there, it's paramount. And that's why I know that having a strong male role model, or just a male role model of any kind, positive kind, any male who can show you an identity that you didn't see before, is so imperative for any young boy trying to grow up. So I can't say that you couldn't have done it on your own, but I can say that I wouldn't be the man I am today if it was just you. And that's just because I wouldn't have been able to see the things I saw that dad showed me.
Nice.
Hopefully that gives you a better answer.
That does. And it helped me out. I mean, especially coming from you, you know what I mean? So, I mean, that makes perfect sense. Makes perfect sense.
Yeah, I want to kind of, I want to say a couple things, because Ashley, I had asked you earlier, what things do you do as a single mom? And this is for all my single moms out there listening to the show. Some of the things that I did, and I say this quote all the time to women, and I'm gonna say it to you, Ash. We are not raising our sons. We are raising future husbands. To me, that is so powerful to understand as women. because a lot of times we do baby them, and I will always baby my kids. I babied him. I still love my baby.
My baby though. I was sensitive. Listen, I can say this real quick, that the only reason why I'm in touch with my emotions and that I can communicate my emotions effectively is because of my mom. If I didn't have my mom in my life to show me how to communicate and to talk properly and to speak and tell somebody, hey, that hurt my feelings. Like, I can straight up tell you that. I don't have to be like, hey, what'd you say to me? I'm be like, yo, why'd you say that? That hurt my feelings. Like, you know, like I don't care if you're a man, woman, child, I don't care. I can tell you how I'm feeling. And I can communicate with that properly because my mom showed me how. Because my mom showed me that you don't have to just run up on a dude because he said something that insulted you. You can just be like, I mean, you didn't have to say that. You know, like, why don't we just be cool?
Look at Auntie.
So, like that, I think that's real important because that's why I value what my mom showed me and my dad. You know, so it's really important to put that out there because that's part of what people would say is soft about me, is the fact that I would be like, that hurt. I can just tell you that.
I think we have to have a separate show about that because I love that as a topic. What makes a real man?
Oh,
Soft man.
Yeah.
Like, we need that as a show. We need that as a topic because that's huge. Because, you know, like he said, oh, I'm soft because I show emotion, which to me is such a moronic thing to say. But one of the things that women, please remember, you're raising you, because when we get these men and it's just like, you don't know how to wash your clothes, you don't know how to do dishes, you don't know how to pick up your drawers, you don't know how, that's probably because maybe he didn't learn it at home, right? Because sometimes as moms, we want to do all of that for them. And one of the things that I did as a mother, like, I was fierce. Do you hear me? Like, I would love them to death. But if you hear that lawnmower, and I'm pushing that lawnmower, you got 10 seconds to get your behind out here and take this lawnmower out of my hands.
I think she used to set us up like that. Like, she wouldn't even come and tell us to cut the grass. She'd just go outside and cut the grass. And if we didn't know, like, we just heard the lawnmower go and we assumed it was dad or something, or maybe like I assumed Devin was doing it. Like, we didn't know I was doing it. She came in all sweating like.
You shouldn't have to ask.
But like, we wouldn't know. Like, half the time we wouldn't know that she was doing it. So she'd come in fire and fury and be dropping bombs on us. And we like, I didn't know. I'm sorry. I'd go cut the extra grass across the street. Like, she used to set us up for stuff like that. So now we had to listen. Like, is it a lawnmower? I gotta go see who it is.
Do I hear them dishes?
Man, like, it's all bad.
Actually, another thing that I used to do as a single mom, and even when I married Tyrone, another thing that I would do is I would take them to parking lots. And we would ride around and we look for elderly people, or we would look for women who had kids, or look for women who were struggling to put boxes in their car, or had a whole bunch of groceries. And I would just pull my car over and I would sit there and I would be like, they would jump out and they would go help put boxes in cars. They'd help put groceries in the car. Yeah. It was their duty.
She instilled that in us. We was doing that. That was a long. We was little doing that. I remember being really little, and it was a thing that was taught to us from mom, and was like, we did this a lot. I remember this happened once when me and Devin, we saw an old lady. It was an old white lady. And like, she was struggling to get her groceries out the cart to put them in the car, and we kind of jogged over to her, and we scared her so bad. I know she thought she was about to get robbed. Like, she we was like, yeah, here, I can get this for you, man. Like, and she still was kind of shook as we was helping her get the groceries. Like, she's like, you're not taking the groceries and running off? Like, nah, like, dude, we're just helping you get the, like, look, she was stuck. Like, it was so funny though. She did tell us that from a real early age. It was to.
So I have a lot to learn, and I am willing, hey, we got to talk, Aunt Tasha. Tell me some things that I can do with my boys, because I don't have the right tools apparently.
There's definitely things that we can do as women, you know what I mean, and be sure to and even like pampering, right? Because Daquan has watched, because his father, will not just go to work and work his butt off every day. He'll come home, he'll cook my dinner.
Listen, one time I had to check mom. I had to check mom so bad because she had the nerve to catch an attitude with dad after he was working all day and came home. I can't remember what it was, but I had to be like, oh, you really got attitude. You really got attitude right now. He done did all this, he got food.
Maybe she was hangry.
But then listen.
I'm spoiled.
That's what it is. That's what it was. She was straight spoiled and she knew it. She was like, you right. You right.
So we have to make sure as women that we teach our sons to pamper women, but not get ran over by women.
100, yes, right? Exactly. Because my sons will never get ran over by no woman.
We don't think. We hope. You know what I mean? So there's things as women that we can do, and I'll start posting these different things that we can do as single women. And then if there's any advice that other single women have that you
please,
schools, give it.
Send them my way.
Like she said, like Ashley said, build us up.
Yeah.
Stop talking about what she can't do. Ashley, you can't do that.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Stop that. That's bull crap.
Mm-hmm.
So right? Do you think that instead of us as men chastising single women for everything that they can't do, perhaps we can give them tools and advice and things that we think they can do to show them, hey, this is what I do as a man for whatever reason,
Thank you.
I think that would be a much better way to try to get single women to feel better about the position that they're in, rather than saying, oh, you're a single woman, you can't show that boy how to, be a man and, take care of his own. So it's like, I think there's different ways that you can go about setting that example, especially coming from us as men. I think we have a tendency to shame rather than to uplift. That's we have an issue with that.
So Ashley, one of the things that I'm gonna play devil's advocate again.
That's
good. You said as single women, we can't. I can't put myself in there anymore. But you can do it on your own. And you can. But one of the things that is key that you continue to say is that you have your father to help you. Mm-hmm. So you're doing it on your own, but however, you do have that influential male influence in his life.
Mm-hmm.
Right.
So I think that the moral of the story is
here it is.
A single woman can do it on her own and should do it on her own if you got an asshole or a lazy dude or an abusive dude, because women do not have to tolerate that bullcrap anymore just to have a man.
Right.
So you can do it on your own, and single women can do it on their own, but I believe that it's imperative to have influential and positive male figures in the life of that child.
And that's the whole point that I was trying to make earlier, is that I just think that you have to have a positive, I think it's a lot to ask for a positive male role model because we have so many negative ones. But Ash, go ahead. I'll let you respond to that before I get to my next point or question, because I wanted to.
No, actually, that was it.
We have Quincy. Hope I pronounced that right.
You got some comments?
Yes, thanks for joining us, Casey, Noble, Maconzi, Jeff, Stetson, Belinda, Lee, Tony, Anthony, hey Dion, Anthony, Dennis, Mary.
I see Edmund.
Edmund said, bro, you all the way grown man.
I'm
a big boy now.
Okay, man. Yeah, but I didn't have I am here to learn as well as to speak on how I felt about the situation. So I've actually learned a lot, and it was great to rap with you guys. It was fun, and I thank you so much for having me. And I tell you, it is. You're right, Aunt Tasha, imperative to at least have a role model, at least a male role model for the boys, and they have it. But and so I am in agreement with that. And they can't, like you said, she can do it on her own. and she should if the situation is not right for her. But definitely having that role model. So yeah.
Yeah. Do you feel like part of the angry Black women stigma comes from hearing things like this, like a woman can't do it on her own?
Yeah, that is part of it. And then some other things too, but that is definitely part of it, and we don't want to hear that. We fought so hard to, be able to even do half the stuff or get paid the same amount as a man.
Right.
So hearing that would cause a little bit of bitterness, so to speak, but and along with other things, but yeah.
Okay, so I did have, because I know we are reaching the 1 hour mark, and I know we want to keep
this was a great show. Thank you, Ashley, so much for bringing this topic to us.
I actually wanted to bring one last thing, because I was waiting because I wanted to hear what everybody had to say. And but just one thing that was kind of a question in my head that I feel like falls into this issue really well, and it could be its own topic. And that's why I wanted to wait until the end so we wouldn't kind of get watered down in talking about this. But I think a big thing when I hear can or can't a woman raise a man, I think we have to determine what we think a man is.
Oh,
like yeah. So it's I think, and like I said, that's why I wanted to wait to the end of that, because I was like, if I try to throw this out there, then we're gonna talk about it. And I don't want to talk about that and not talk about anything else. But like I said, like we have such a real big issue, and this is specific for me in the Black community, with toxic masculinity. And I think that when people hear, they'll say like, "Oh, I'm a man," because I hear dudes say this. Yeah. And I'll be like, "What makes you a man?"
Yeah. What is that? What's the definition?
I'll look at you and I'm like, "What makes you a man, my guy?" Like you're not. You don't. To me, you don't. No man really has to say, "I'm a man."
I'm a man. You don't have to.
To me, that's a quality. Now, I'm not saying if you say you're a man, you're not. But to me, I'm gonna take note of that, because I feel like the people who I look at as men never have called themselves men.
100.
It's the same kind of guy who is like, "I'm real." No, you're not. Real people don't ever say, "I'm real." Real, I'm a real nigga. No, you're not. Because they don't have to say that. So to me, it's like when we say, "What is a man?" everybody has a different meaning that comes to mind for a man. Some women invite me to
the next one. So when y'all have the next podcast, I'm coming.
So do you think that that's its own show? Because for me, it's like when I say that,
very own show. It's its very own show, and it's a powerful show. Yeah. What is a man? What is the definition of a man? And I think it goes right into Ashley's her question. Well, her topic of, can a woman raise a man on her own? Right. Because what is a man? Right.
That's why I wanted to wait, because I was like, if I ask that at the beginning, it's gonna get us all over here, and I don't want to do that. So
I'm here for it. So let me know, and I'm coming back. Like,
okay, because it does segue right off of your topic, and it kind of works out perfectly. So I don't know how you feel. We're supposed to talk about new topics and anything else, guys. If you're watching YouTube on the channel. If you're watching this and you've made it this far, which I highly doubt, but if you did, congratulations, 2 thumbs up to you. I'm gonna send you a shirt. I don't know, maybe not. I don't have any. I got 2 left, but still.
Giveaways. We'll do giveaways. We'll do raffles. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I just want to put it out there and say, if you have any ideas for topics of shows, because I have been on Messenger talking to people about potential topics, and we get the usual politics and religion and I've gotten sexuality, like homosexuality. I've got a couple of those. So there's a whole bunch of topics to cover that are really broad, and I want to bring people on and see what they have to say and interact.
Yeah.
Make sure that you guys keep tuning in to the Tasha Neal Show on Facebook. It's about to be on YouTube. Make sure that you hit my son up, Geezdayday, Geezdayday, Geezdayday on YouTube. Make sure you go subscribe and like, because if we can sit around and we can watch Love and Hip Hop, we can watch the Tasha Neal Show and Geezdayday to try to make changes in within our community, right?
Yeah.
Let's talk about these hard topics. Let's talk about one of the things that I want to talk about, and we're going to wrap this up real quick. And Ashley, this is going to be something that's going to be good for you because you have teenage boys, right? I've heard a lot of women who lose their ish when they find out that their young sons are watching porn.
Oh,
right?
That's a big one. Yeah.
So porn, masturbation, it's like topics that people
look.
Honey, we gotta talk about it, right?
She said, I don't know about that.
So mom, you gonna have to go buy your Victoria's Secret lotion, honey. It's about to be
Don't do that.
Yes, buying big huge bottles of 50-cent lotion and throw it in your son's room.
Just throw it like a grenade. Bite the top off and throw it at him. Just and run, because just leave and don't come back. Just be like,
we've already talked about that, so we're already heading down.
Talk to you?
Yes, he talked to me, and we've already talked about it. So he's actually very comfortable talking to me about it. I won't put his business out there, but we talked about it.
That's good. That's good. That's a huge step in the right direction, because I know way too many people who would not be comfortable talking about that.
Yes,
about birth control
and birth control. Yes, condoms. He knows it all already. We're good. We're good. You know, because listen, it's right after 14.
You better work, because a lot of people don't want to talk to their kids about birth control.
Oh, I did. I wanted to make sure he was safe, because I would hate for anything to happen to him. So.
Yeah. Okay, Ma, so go ahead, wrap your show up, and I'll wrap mine on the end after you wrap yours up.
So next week, on our next show, listen, we don't have no schedule yet. You just gonna have to pop in on us. But the next show, I'll be giving away a $25 gift card, gas card, gift card, whatever, to be a Visa card. So
maybe Amazon, I don't know.
Maybe so
people like Amazon.
We'll be giving away little iPads, and you know what I mean? So you guys just got to keep watching the show. We're trying to do some good things with this. Like I said last show, living a dream, baby, living the dream. Hey!
Dream.
Thank you, Ashley, so much for this topic.
Thank you, cuz. I appreciate you coming out.
No, thank you. Thank you.
And not only can you be a single mom, you're an amazing single mom.
You're doing
I
it.
appreciate it. Thank you. I'm doing the best I can.
Hey, but you're doing it. You ain't trying, you're doing it.
You're doing
Thank
it.
you.
So thank you guys so much for joining us for the Tasha Neal Show, and of course, Geezdayday. Thanks our guest, Ashley Neal. You beautiful girl. You beautiful girl.
Hey.
Join us next time. Thank you guys. We love you.
Bye.